My iTunes now.
Give it a moment to see if anybody can join us. I know this is not my normal time for a live stream, so I appreciate if anyone can make it. I got to come home a little early. I got to leave work early because I had my Suboxone appointment today. Hello, hello.
I'm trying to get set up here.
Yep.
I apologize.
Greg has to set up, hey Angel, the comments on his phone so that I can see it.
There we go. Okay, then.
Do you want me to try to put the little ring light thingy on?
I think it's alright.
Okay. Hello. Do you like our orange shirts? I feel like we look like silly twins in this video for some reason because we're like super orange, but it's Wednesday.
Look how cute it is.
He's got a puppy and mine says, I don't know if it's backward. It's backwards, right?
Yes.
Zero fox given.
Haha. Very funny.
He picked it out for me and I just think it's adorable. Yeah, there was a couple topics I wanted to talk about today and I've been teetering between them. The two topics that I wanted to cover is like my perspective on addiction and how I think it could kind of be similar. Treating it could be similar to like how we treat an eating disorder, which is, an eating disorder is a symptom of a larger problem. But I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I got a comment about Greg recently about him being a sociopath. And it was apparently a therapist that said this, that she said he's a sociopath and I'm a trophy because he's a sociopath, because he has antisocial personality disorder.
You're a prize for me.
I mean, I am
on my shelf.
Catch, but
yeah.
When I read the comment, I was angry. I got angry at first because if you're really a therapist, like, you should not be spreading that misinformation.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll explain, like, why people put them together, but someone complimented my last few videos.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angel. Yeah, I've been having fun just kind of branching out. I mean, I know that it's not completely opposite. Like, they're definitely still related to me and things I like, but
I keep telling her that I think that whatever she wants to make, you guys will probably watch.
Yeah.
So.
And if you guys aren't into it, then that's cool. But someone said, are you collecting your jar of hearts? Yes.
Yes.
So the science or psychology behind why sociopath and ASPD or antisocial personality disorder, why they're linked is because sociopath isn't even like a diagnostic term.
Yeah, it's a pop culture term.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's not clearly defined. It represents like a villain, basically, like a villain archetype.
Yes.
In like true crime and movies and books and whatnot. And it's like it's an excuse to have someone who has literally zero emotions or empathy or things in the way of their villainy or
yes.
or whatnot. Real life is less I don't know, clearly defined, or not clearly defined, but like black and white.
Yeah.
Like pure evil is rare.
Yeah, and psychopathy, that is a thing. Sociopathy is not. It is often used, people will say the closest thing to a sociopath is someone with antisocial personality disorder, but that does not mean they're the same thing at all. Like, they're not the same thing. So, Nicole, someone had commented and said that Greg was a sociopath and that I was his trophy. And that they were a therapist.
And they know what they're
so
talking
they know
about.
What they're talking
Trust
about.
us.
And it's just like ASPD or antisocial personality disorder is that. It's a personality disorder. And psychopathy is actually like a construct. It is something. Like, you can be tested for it and have like traits of it, but it is not a disorder or like a personality disorder.
It's not in the DSM.
It's like behaviors. It's more behaviors versus like a personality. And it's not in the DSM, no, but it is something that you can test for. Bubby is snoring. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
He's
snoring.
snore?
Yeah, he's snoring so loud. But you can be tested to see if you fall on like the scale of like if you're a psychopath or not. And that's like in addition to whatever personality disorder or mental illness you have. It's not the only thing. Like, that is not your diagnosis. So the reason that they said this or assumed this is mostly because of, like, Shane Dawson and
just pop culture at large. Yeah.
Like, we have a fascination with it, especially with, like, the true crime thing going on. It's like, we don't have serial killers like we used to anymore. We have
I disagree, but
I mean, we have them in different fashions. Like, we have...
Yeah. It's not the 70s or 80s, but there are still a lot of active serial killers, and we catch them all the time. But
yeah, it's just different. Like, we don't hear about the cases... Like, because we are so much more advanced, we have an easier time at tracking people and stopping them sooner. And, like, our people get their high kill counts from mass shootings.
Yeah,
from, like,
I mean, it's
like...
Yeah.
Planned and, like... I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm thinking, like, a serial killer, you're thinking, like, somebody that has, like, an MO and fits this profile and does the same type of killing in the same places and, like, you know what I mean? And has, like, a plan and all this stuff. And we don't have that. But that is something that is very interesting, and pop culture, like, they love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have all types of movies about it, and it's just not something...
It's a villain. It's a villain character, then. And
exactly.
Yeah.
So...
But.
I wanted to say that Greg had the video about his lack of empathy, and having no empathy when he was younger was because of his ASPD, and his addiction played into that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that empathy is like something he has empathy now. And it is something that he had to not learn how to have, but learn how to allow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Because
like,
he could feel it, but he could shut that off. You know, he could be selfish.
Yeah, far easier to ignore it and not even give it a thought than to turn it on a little bit and have to deal with feelings. What do you mean deal with feelings? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, like your feelings, let alone the feelings of other people.
Right.
And it's not that, like, I'd say that he learned empathy, but like, really he just learned how to be a little bit less selfish and a little bit more considerate of other people's feelings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that you had to, like, go... That is not why he went to see a therapist. That is not, like... That is just, like, a byproduct of growing up and therapy and becoming a dad.
Yeah, it's a confluence of factors. Yeah. There's a lot of things that...
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about some of the ways that you're not a sociopath. Like, things that are not...
By I'm not pure evil?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I care, like, I do care a lot about... The things that I value are important to me, and I will go out of my way to do... I am selfless at times. Like,
yeah, super selfless, actually, because he does so much for me without even thinking. Like, that's just your instinctive nature. You take care of people, which is, you know, that sounds like...
The therapist would say that that's how I manipulate and get what I want in the end, ultimately.
Yeah, but he does it without even really... Your acts of service was his love language for a very long time. It teeters between acts of service and physical touch. And, well, physical touch is number one, but your second one, and that's definitely how you show love. And you do so much for so many people, and it's like... I don't know. You do
I
things
cry
without even asking.
I cry at movies. I cry all the time now.
It's more than movies. Like, he cries at podcasts. He cries at commercials. He cries over things Emerson does.
But like even when I was younger, like things could still touch me emotionally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a true sociopath would be like dead inside.
They would,
and be unable to like feel great emotions.
There's how is this? I might mess this up, but there's something. Sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
There's two types of empathy. There's like a cognitive empathy, and I forget the other type. There's basically one is like knowing how other people feel. That's what a sociopath does. They know how other people feel, so they can like mirror it and respond accordingly, but they don't actually feel anything.
It's a mask.
Yeah, and then there's like genuine empathy, and that is, you definitely have like, you can tell the difference, I would think, because I think if you didn't have empathy, like, you would be able to brush some things off much quicker. And it's like, you have feelings and they get hurt, and you see other people hurt, and that hurts you.
Yeah, for a long time, though, it was like just I know how I'm supposed to behave in this situation, and I could. Like, empathy was very difficult for me for a long time. Like, it's not that I couldn't feel it. It was just so much easier
to ignore it.
Yeah, to just ignore it. And
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people can't shut it off and, like, just do heartless things. But
I mean, that's not true. I could, especially in my active addiction, I could, but like I am overly empathetic more often than not. But there are times when I'm an INFJ, so this is what I blame it on. They call it the INFJ door slam, but that's like a Myers-Briggs thing. So when I'm empathetic and I care and I care and I care, and then I reach this point and I don't.
well, and you're a sprinter, like, so you burn out. Like, you know what I mean?
But, yeah. So like the INFJ door slam is like, I will reach this point where I just like I give up and I slam the door and I'm done and I don't care. I don't have any feelings. I just don't care about it anymore. And I mean, I wish that I had more balance because I am so super over the place. Hi, I'm glad you caught alive too. I'm doing a little bit early today and on a different day.
And just random.
Yeah.
Like,
so for you, like your addiction played into that as well. So it's not just that you were like, because what would you say when you were younger, when you were young, like before your addiction started or any of that stuff? Did you notice you had trouble with empathy, or?
I noticed that I was a little bit, because I am a literal person. Like, I am very much like present focused, directly in front of me. What did I say just before this?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. But I was a little detached. So, like, I was always a little detached and logical and just, like, too removed from things. Like,
that makes sense.
Like I...
Fingers.
Yeah. Like, what I do this now is, like, someone will come to me and, like, complain about a thing or just generally want to unload and me
Just
to commiserate with them. Yeah, to vent. And what I will then take what they said and I will spit out like this practical solution that they can do right now to like make it better.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, yeah, it's that sucks, man. That sucks. I'm like, hey, you know what you can do? You can do this.
I have a solution. You're a
and
problem
I genuinely
solver.
feel like that is I don't know what I should do. I don't know, man.
Because it's like easier for you to not, instead of dealing with the emotions and like wallowing in it, you are just like, how can I fix this?
Yeah, fix it.
And you do that with your own emotions too, but like you do it with, so for other people, that's what you do. And people will get upset and he won't even know it. And that's partially because of the autism and like the social cues that you can't pick up on. And then that just kind of feeds into the antisocial personality disorder. It's like, it was like a ebb and flow.
Yeah, I feel like ASPD I think drug usage and the autism spectrum, like, I think that kind of came together to generate ASPD like symptoms, like those antisocial symptoms, because the drug use and the behaviors that come with drug addiction and that kind of thing are so antisocial, and then to be able to like kind of have the autism thing where you can kind of just detach from it, I think was a recipe to like really cause damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like the autism thing is because you do struggle with social interactions and social cues, but not as severely as some people with autism.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So it's something that people will overlook. They don't see it in you. And it's easy for people to not, I don't know, sometimes people think that you can have one or the other. It's like ASPD or ASD, and you can definitely have like this relationship where like almost as if like one kind of takes over, like as he stopped using, and like a lot of people with antisocial personality disorder have a comorbid addiction that is very high, and it's just kind of how they cope. And
it's also like when you are doing negative things, you know what I mean, like your behavior is just generally bad, you know what I mean.
He doesn't actually have, that's the one thing, he has not been officially diagnosed with autism. It runs in his family very, like...
I would be genuinely blown away if I was not diagnosed.
It's like his dad, his sister, brother, and Oh, I won't mention the other person. We'll talk about that person later.
Multiple family members are diagnosed.
So getting diagnosed with autism is kind of not worth
they
it.
only go off of what you relay to them anyway. Like,
and it costs a lot of money. Like, I've heard that the test for autism, especially if you're an adult, because it's like people don't think that the diagnosis means, like, what will it do? Oh, G-Man! Hi, G-Man, but that's my first super chat. That's so awesome.
Yay.
I didn't even realize that you could do that. But
Canadian, eh?
yeah. You're silly.
I know.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the autism diagnosis is it's something that I have talked to. I talked to someone that is an occupational therapist at my son's in occupational therapy, and we were just talking about it, and they said that they don't see the diagnosis as important when you're an adult. But I mean, I do think it is.
It is insofar as
it helps you understand you.
Yes, and it also helps me understand, like, our son, so far, like, sensory processing disorder is definitely, Emerson has that.
Yeah, they said he's sensory seeking.
Right, sensory seeking. So for me to, which it's linked and like part of like the autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah, there's like sister diagnosis.
But to see his behaviors and then like see them in me, kind of, it unlocked a lot where I was like, oh man, that thing he does that's like kind of, it's just easier to see it in other people, and then you can then see it in yourself, and you're like, oh shit, this is different than what most people think or act like or
and you don't
feel
even realize that it's different until we've seen it in like Emerson.
Right, it had nothing to compare it against until recently.
I made a post on my community tab recently that was about like video topics and ideas, and sensory processing disorder came up, and someone commented that it is linked to prenatal opioid exposure, which is interesting. That is not why I believe, I mean, it could be partially why Emerson has it, but it is something that is like genetic, and it has a hereditary aspect to it as well. I mean, he's so much like Greg, and looking back, I think so many adults are diagnosed with things like this, like autism or a sensory processing disorder, because their kids are. What are you doing, G-Man? You keep
right,
thank you.
Right.
You're awesome.
But yeah, there's a large number.
Orange is the new black. What are you doing, G-Man?
of like parents who see behaviors in their kids and go in and they're like, oh my god, I finally understand like about yourself. And it's a very, like, when you can look at what you do and understand why you do it, it's an incredibly powerful thing that, like, I wish everybody knew how to examine their thoughts. It's not hard, but it's not easy either. I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes
do you want to talk
about
sensory processing disorder a little?
Yeah.
So sensory processing disorder, like Greg said, is linked to autism in a sense. I don't know if it's like you have one and then maybe you have, I don't know. They're related. They're like
but you can have just sensory processing disorder and not be on the spectrum.
Yeah. So Emerson is sensory seeking. You can be there's like two ways really. I think it's I've read like sensory seeking means you are seeking sensory stimulation. So he's always like running, jumping, screaming, touching things, like just crazy hyperactive, like he's just a little boy, but to an extreme. And then he can be overly sensitive to things like noise. If it's like, he will make a lot of noise, but if he hears loud noises, he is like, he'll cover his ears. If we go to restaurants, we can't go out to we choose not to go out to dinner because it's not easy for him.
It's a challenge. Yeah, it's very challenging.
Like, he will play with something, like he'll play with something sticky or even eat something sticky and be completely fine,
loving it,
having the best time ever, until he is done and over it, and then he's like
sticky,
freaks out, and has like a total meltdown because he can't handle this, like what he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with like getting wet and water. He loves to go out in the rain and splash in puddles in his rain boots, and then when he's done, he has to like strip naked and like get his boots off, get his wet clothes off before he will even move. And there are different ways, like at bedtime, we've learned there are certain ways that help him fall asleep, and they sound counterintuitive, but like bear hugs, and like they have this thing where it's like you like pull in their joints a little.
It's this wow, damn it, what is it?
I can't remember what it's called. The proprioceptive thing?
Yes, that word.
Proprioceptive means it's just like...
touch input.
Yeah, touch input. And I think that so many kids have this to an extent. Like, I think it's just normal. All of us have issues with certain senses and things that we process. You know, it's just kind of how it goes. But how many kids were, like, bad kids when we were younger and they were really just struggling with something like this? I think it's interesting that now we've adapted to it instead of seeing the kids as bad kids. Like, I don't think there are bad kids. I think there are kids with kids that are tired, kids that are hungry, kids that need structure, kids that have sensory processing disorder. You know, they're like, kids are kids. How are they? They're not bad. We're shaping them.
Right. So
I like the idea of kind of molding parenting to each child and it's individualized, which is something I'm always preaching about how individualized we are and addiction treatment is. So like, why would you ever raise your kids the same? You know, you can't have two kids and have them be exactly the same. So it's taught me a lot. It's really interesting. And I do see a lot of behaviors in Emerson that I do myself. And, like, he didn't know about eating. Thank you, G-Man. You are a bad kid.
Are Canadian dollars less than American dollars?
Like, I don't actually know. Does it have a different thing?
It says CA.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm assuming.
I don't know what I figured you would know more than me.
Canucky stand Kopex? I don't know. But there's a lot, like, and Emerson will do things and, like, if we're not paying attention and not, like, kind of aware of or cognizant of the fact that he has these sensory processing issues, he will do these things and we will get frustrated and be like, why are you doing that? Why won't you stop asking questions? And then you have to take a step back and you're like, oh shit, that's because that's the way you process things. Like, you can't help it, and working with him will get us where we want to be far faster than fighting him.
Yeah.
But it can be difficult to remember that in the moment when he's just like messing with the dogs when they're trying to eat. Like,
he's overwhelming. He's intense. Like, what was he saying? His engines were running hot last week when we were trying to do the live stream. He was screaming, and I said, "Honey," I was like, "Lower your voice." He said, "I can't. My engine's running hot." Vroom, vroom, vroom. Like, and like that's just he just goes like a mile a minute, and
redirecting him works pretty well.
Yeah, if he stays like stimulated, if we keep him active, like he loves being outside and playing, if we do all those things, then he can balance it out. But on the days when it's raining and we can't go outside, or it's like we're basically when we're unable to take him outside to play, he struggles. He cannot be inside. Like, he has a really hard time with it. And like his attention, like he'll do things, we'll play Play-Doh, we'll do different things, but like it's not, he has a hard time.
Well, thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Routine. So, and he.
Oh yeah.
Once he gets into a routine, it is incredibly hard to break him out of it. So when he would come home, he would go outside and play outside, and then come in super late. He is 3 going on 4 here, 4 in November here soon.
Yep.
But so if we tried to do anything different than have him come home and play outside, it was a nightmare.
It was hard.
That was his routine, and that is what he wanted to do and expected to do. And when we deviated from that routine, it wasn't going to end well.
And he gets to spend all day with Grammy and Pappy, so that play outside. They're retired. They have the time to do that. So after work, you know, I get off at 5, come home, try to make dinner, I have to be inside to do these things. And for a while I was in school, and it was just, before we really realized what was going on, it felt like he was just acting out and not listening, and I couldn't figure it out. But it's nice to know. Now that you say that, like his routine has shifted. Now he's gotten used to coming home and staying inside. Like, well, not all the time. We still let him go outside and play, but it is no longer like the thing that we are gonna do.
Yeah. Like, but and when we're mindful of if why he's acting out is a routine change or a sensory thing or anything like that, when we realize that, it gives us so much more patience and like empathy and the ability to like handle him in like a skillful way.
Yeah, and I've learned lots of like really interesting techniques for handling it. Like I don't know. There's like a couple there's a bunch of camps on parenting, but there's like the one where you are firm and you're the authority and your child has to listen. And we tried that route, and like for me it's so important to follow through. Like you have to follow through consistently. I can't say something and then go back on it later, like, because then he knows I don't mean those things. So we've gotten very good at, like, when we say it, we mean it. We follow through. Yeah, so I don't make empty threats.
Right.
But for him, I can't push him with like ultimatums. They don't work. I have to meet him where he's at, and then kind of work from there. It's really interesting because it's different than how I expected to parent. It's different than how I thought things would go.
Well, and I was listening to a podcast today that's like, we need to teach our kids how to be like, how to trust like themselves, and like forcing them to do things they don't want to do is just training them to do things they don't want to do later. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think we have to remember that we raise kids for 18 years, but like that's a small chunk of their life. Like we gotta train them for the rest of their lives.
Now that you say that, I can circle back into the empathy and sociopath thing. So like a sociopath would, or like a person that is cold like a sociopath, they would have a child, and their child would be like, if they had more than one child, they would probably have a favorite, and they'd be like their little poster child. And they would kind of direct how they want their kid's life to be. Like, you are playing baseball, and you are doing this, and, like, this is how it is. And then your child, like, they make it so that their child feels like they have to live up to certain expectations. And it was just interesting because Greg creates this environment where Emerson can grow. Whatever Emerson is interested in, Greg will do something, like, will make something for him to have, like, a little science project about it, or, like, right now he's into collecting bugs, and he brought home a little cicada, and he was so excited, so Greg had, like, a magnifying glass, and then
jeweler's loop that made it. I love magnifying glasses, are super cool.
And so this morning he was telling me all about it, all the different things on it, and it's really interesting because whatever Emerson picks up, whatever thing he's, like, holding on to, you are really good at fostering it.
Yeah, I want him to be curious about everything, ask questions about everything, and just, I don't know, because I love learning about stuff. I love understanding things. Like, that's what sparks joy in me. Yeah. And I see it spark joy in him, so I want to foster that. Like, I don't know.
And you have, like, you are the smartest person I know. You're always learning, so to have that in him is awesome. I wonder if, like, I don't know. That's just something I guess as a parent, I thought I would just kind of have a kid and they would do certain things.
Jess! Thank you.
We do this all the time. Like, we haven't done it in live stream as much, but we, like, literally finish each other's sandwiches. Yeah.
Sorry, that was corny.
I set that one up for you. Yeah. I was hoping that you would follow through.
Of course.
Yeah, like, literally, we'll say something to Emerson, and we just speak in unison all the time. We would be an annoying couple to hang out with, and it's not intentional.
Right. But,
hey, has everybody watched Jess's new video on CG Kids channel? You should definitely check it out later. I was excited that it finally dropped. So I wanted to go over the sensory processing disorder and ways that we have kind of changed, like, beyond just the how do we help him with it? Like, the one thing that I was doing, so we went grocery shopping, and I've learned that if you let him pick up heavy things and help him, it's like the proprioceptive, it's a hard word to say, proprioceptive input means he needs, like, touch input.
If he can always be touching something interesting, he'll be okay.
Orbeez. Do you guys know what Orbeez are? Orbeez are these little balls. Yeah. I don't know. They like, what?
Polymer water balls. They're little tiny beads.
Yeah.
And they suck up water and they become little big beads. They use them in plants and stuff.
Yeah.
If you're on YouTube, you probably know what Orbeez water beads are.
So he has, like, this big, big tub of Orbeez, and he will just stand there and put his hands in it, and then put his feet in it, and, like,
Orbeez feel so cool.
He picks them up and he squeezes them out of his hand. And he says, "I'm pooping Orbeez," and I mean, something like that will keep him so occupied. But
when you were filming yesterday, I had a balloon, and we were downstairs, and I would blow the balloon up and hand it to him, and he would let it go and like, he would freak out and laugh and run after it and grab it and say, blow it up again, blow it up again. Like, and we did that for like 15 minutes.
Were you like that as a child?
As far as I can remember, I have no idea.
As far as I can remember, yeah, sure, maybe.
I honestly...
My sister was like that.
Yeah, I don't remember much of my younger years. I read a lot.
Jess, you were not cringy. And my sister was diagnosed with, oh my gosh, side note, Emerson makes a mess with them too. But
Orbeez everywhere.
My sister was diagnosed with ADHD at a very young age, like super young. And she fits the bill perfectly. But looking back, I like wonder if she also had, well, I mean, I think she still does have sensory processing disorder. She has like different quirks, I guess is what we've always called them growing up.
You could almost classify ADHD as a sensory processing disorder.
Much like autism and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, reading and learning about sensory processing disorder was incredibly enlightening for me.
I think that every parent should know about it, though, because I genuinely do feel like, much like ADHD, you know, kids they'll show those...
Crystal, that's great. I'm super glad that they feel better, because... man, do ill-fitting dentures suck.
Did you tell her about a soft liner?
Yeah, and they put one in for her.
Yay!
Like, when I got one put in for the first time, it was like, I was like, oh my god, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And that lasted for a couple of days, and then they kind of lose shape. But they stay...
They keep doing it, though.
Yeah, they'll Aspen will do it as many times as you ask them to.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
I'm sure most places would.
Yeah. And then for the... Oh, gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
I was thinking about back on the sensory processing disorder. What was it? Oh, eating. So another part of sensory processing disorder, eating and speech, is what I wanted to do. They have delayed, it's very likely that they will have delayed speech, delayed milestones in general, but not as much. Like speech is the biggest one. Emerson didn't have delayed milestones. He was good on all of those. Like average, like not above average.
Well, I mean, he went to speech therapy because he...
Well, because of his speech. But I mean, like walking, crawling, sitting, those milestones he was good at. But all of that stuff, like, it's all related.
To explore.
Yeah.
And, like, touch everything and see everything.
I look back at videos of Emerson at a year old or like 18 months, and he was still very much like like he just like honked at us kind of. He didn't really talk, and I was worried for a while, but then he started talking, and he knew a lot of words but could not pronounce anything. He would drop the consonants at the beginning of his words, and I'm not really sure. I don't know why speech is related to this, like why it's just like a marker of SPD. It just happens to be one of those things. And it's also like his tongue, he had problems with his tongue, so he struggled with eating. He constantly like would gag or cough or choke on things, and I thought it was his way of getting attention, because it kind of
becomes
is.
That after he chokes initially, because it gets our attention, but yeah, so he didn't know how to push food to the outside of his mouth. Now he's in occupational therapy and graduated from speech, so he's talking well. I mean, people still have a hard time understanding him, but once you know him, you don't. But he's trying to, I guess, learn life skills and stuff. Because of his SPD, he doesn't like brushing his teeth. That's incredibly difficult. He doesn't like eating a lot of textures. He doesn't like the way they feel in his mouth. And he has a hard time, like, chewing them and separating them. And some stuff is too much. Some stuff's not enough. Like, it's hard to...
Kids are the best. I don't know why I wanted to become a mom.
Yeah, I mean, we're both pretty selfish people. Like, being a parent is the most rewarding thing, but...
It's hard. I don't know what I was thinking. Like,
yeah.
I do know what... Like, we weren't at a bad place. Like, things were good for, like, a blip in time. And I'm like, let's have a baby. And you agreed.
It was a great decision.
Right? I don't regret it, but oh my gosh, it was so...
It is so hard. It is so hard. It will be so hard. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, the times that it
all of the
times that it has rewarded and felt good has made up for all of the times that it was so hard.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would have learned as much about myself as I have if not for Emerson. Like
True. All of like the ASD and all of that really came through because of him.
Yeah, like I said, it's easy when you see your own behaviors modeled in someone else. It's much easier to identify them and be like, "Oh, hey, I do that." Like when I was younger, I used to stim a lot. I used to go like this when I got excited.
Still does.
Yeah, sometimes. Less often. Or I would be like, I do all kinds of weird things.
Especially when we were picking up drugs. That was like a weird thing that you did. Like you got so excited that you couldn't handle it, and you would start stimming, is what it's called.
Yeah.
So Katie said kinetic sand is great too, easy to clean up. He would get that stuff everywhere.
We have old ass hardwood floors with like gaps in between them like this wide, so it's very hard to clean up.
Yeah, and then Margie.
She can read, I swear.
Says, my kids both have sensory processing issues, and you do too, and certain noises make you run away. I get like that. I can't handle a lot of noises, or Shane Dawson just came out with it. It's a thing that when you can't handle people like chewing or slurping or making, there's a specific word for it. I guess it's an actual diagnosis
People
or
don't
phobia.
Be gross.
No, like, I can hear...
Jenna used to not be able to, when I used to eat cereal, she could not stand the sound of crunching. Like,
yeah,
I'm like, I wouldn't even, it's not even loud or anything. She'd be like, stop doing it so loud. I'm like, wait, I'm just eating.
Yeah,
I chew with my mouth closed.
I always yell at my mom. I'm like, Mom, quit chewing. And then, I just hear, there was a TV show where a girl had like a nerdy voice and she had a lisp, and it was so hard for me to listen to it. It hurt me.
Misophonia? Is that
yes, that's what it is.
Thanks, Crystal.
And then Crystal said that she's healing abnormally, but we should talk about your healing process in a video. We should make a video about that, how you did all of that. Side question, are you guys coming to Chicago? I would love to come to Chicago. I was actually just talking to Jess about that recently. Since I couldn't get up there to New York, I was like, I guess I'm just going to have to fly to Chicago.
I've never been to Illinois.
Yeah. I mean, I've driven through it, but I would love to go there. Just...
Not me. I mean, I wouldn't mind going there. I haven't been there before.
I was like, what do you mean not you? Yeah. You're coming. Let's see. Kid fake chokes and scares the crap out of you. Almost hit a fire hydrant once. Well, one time he choked on a lollipop, and it was like,
actual
it's hard
choking?
to tell if it's real or not, so every time I react.
Yeah, what he would do is cough, saw that we would be like, what happened? And then he would be like, and just do it over and over and over again. It's the boy who cried wolf in real life.
Every now and then it's real.
Yeah.
So
it's because he can't chew. He does choke. It's just usually not a big problem.
Yeah, and he always goes crazy. TL said, hey there, noticed you guys were live and wanted to say thank you for your content. Me and my wife needed a lot of info on Matt. Having your first baby. Oh, congratulations.
Mm-hmm. It's hard, but great.
Becoming a parent is hard, but it is the best thing ever. There's so many things I've experienced that I couldn't have experienced without having a kid.
But like, if I didn't have her, oh God, I cannot imagine being a single parent. Like, the thought terrifies me.
Well, I don't want to say that I could never do it, because I could if I had to. I don't
Humans
ever
are
want
nothing
to.
if not adaptable.
Yeah, but it would just be hard, you know.
I rely on you so much, and you rely on me so much. I can't. Team is necessary.
Yeah, so we can tap in and tap out. So Phil said, my dad recently overcame his addiction, and you want to reach out to him. We've never had a relationship and would love to change that. You don't know how to go about it. Well, if you have any way to talk to him or contact him, just do it.
Yeah, I work with a guy who his parents put him up for adoption, or he doesn't know who his dad is, and like, I've talked to him before, and like, all he wants is for his dad to like reach out to him, like I don't know, just reach out is what I'm trying to say. Like, most likely that person would want a relationship with you too, or would want to hear from you. Like, it's not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know if like your dad has, like, if you've been, I don't know how much you've seen each other.
Thank you.
But you know, there's no time like now, and we don't have it. You know, nothing is guaranteed to us, so I would definitely take advantage of it. If you're feeling like it and you're afraid to like make a phone call or anything like that, do it written. Send them a letter.
Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, your relationship isn't gonna get worse than it is now, I guess.
Yeah. If you don't have a relationship, there really isn't. Like, it can't get worse.
Honesty, communication. Yeah. The older I get, the more I'm like, man, communication is so important, and we're all so bad at it.
Yeah. I would think that also you don't have to, just reaching out and like starting that conversation, bridging that gap, doesn't have to be like rehashing everything and you know talking about like all of your open wounds still right away.
Right.
Like just make the contact is what I would say, and then go from there.
Yeah.
If it's too much, you know, you always have the right to not go forward with it. Let's see. Stella says she wishes she could have kids, but not healthy enough for the time being. We want to have foster children in the future.
Yeah, that would be...
I was actually talking to my mom about it today, about you getting a vasectomy, because
that
would be more preferable, because that can be reversed. Like, I don't know. It's
Dudes
not
should so getting your tubes tied as a female is an incredibly dangerous and invasive thing for women. You have too much of the burden when it comes to contraception and, like,
I'm so glad you
men
know that
suck,
now.
Man. Like, we expect women to do all the work. Like, you must be on birth control. You have to get your, like, just, I don't want to wear a condom. Why would I do that? Dudes, be better to your women is all. That's all.
It sucks. It's a lot of responsibility that women carry, because, you know, both of us can go into like a one-night stand, and the woman is really the only one like that leaves with like that real
could
threat.
End
like,
up with her life altered irrevocably.
The guy could also, but he could also just walk away from it.
Yeah.
Like, it's much harder for a woman to walk away from it when she carries the
Down
child.
with the patriarchy, man.
And then
thanks, Katie.
See. Oh, G-Man left, he said, but he doesn't understand how we can raise a family without socialized medicine. It's Emerson and I, like, I think he means, like, social, like, healthcare.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Yeah, that's what I think he means. So, Emerson and I, because we're lower income, and I have no shame talking about that, I've considered making videos about it. Emerson and I both qualify for medical assistance. And we're not married, so that's partially why, but Greg has his own insurance through his employer. But, oh my gosh, there was a point when I started to make too much money, and I actually stopped making, like...
Too much money.
Right, too much money. It wasn't very much money, and I only picked up a couple extra hours, but you only, like, you qualify or have to reapply for your benefits twice a year. And one time of the year, we are very slow. So, like, I am very low on the income scale. And, I mean, that's just how my job is. I work very little over the winter. And then when summer hits and I have to reapply then, I think in, like, October after the summer ends, or it's, like, September or something, I work way, way more in the summer. So then I always lose my health care. And then I have to... It's a nightmare. So I have medical assistance, but I also pay for my own insurance in addition to it. It might sound counterintuitive, but my health insurance that I pay for covers the things that the medical assistance doesn't, because like medical assistance isn't accepted by my family doctor, who I've gone to for 11 plus years. So I'm not changing family doctors because my new insurance doesn't cover that. So I was just paying out of pocket, but Emerson would qualify for CHIP. When I lose my insurance, he still qualifies for insurance because he's underage, but it sucks to lose I lose my insurance like once every year. And then a couple, like literally 2 or 3 months later, I can reapply for it because my income drops down low enough. But there's a lot of things that, like, it's hard being in lower, CHIP is for if you have insurance, I believe, but you can't, it's children's health care, but I don't know what the qualification is for. It's like, if their medical assistance is if the mother also doesn't make enough money and they qualify.
Children health care insurance program.
Yeah, but there's like a certain cutoff. Like if the mom, like CHIP is for when the mom doesn't get medical assistance too. So right now, Emerson and I both get medical assistance, so we both get that. But if I made too much money, but still not enough money for him, he could get it. But there's like a whole bunch of things. You know, we get SNAP benefits, I get that, and I've learned how to do like customer, what are they called? Customer assistance programs, CAP, for like your utilities. You can get it for your electric, for your gas, for a lot of different utilities. And I lived most of my life without these things. I did not know about it.
Most people do not. Like another coworker of mine, it's a girlfriend of one of my coworkers. She has like 3 kids and single, like, raises them by and pays like multiple $100s for her electric, and like, you don't have, if you genuinely can't pay it, there are
Yeah.
programs that will help you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, people, we're not educated because those companies don't want to have to foot the bill.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you about that.
Yeah.
And if you apply for like benefits through the government, more often than not, you will be denied the first time or even second time.
Almost assuredly.
And then you'll get like a letter like later that says that you actually do qualify. That's always happened for me. I applied for daycare assistance, and I called in because I got a letter that said like I needed to send something in. I was in the car with Greg. I called in and I was like, hey, did you receive this information I sent in? And they said, they checked the file and they said, yep, you got everything here. You're good to go. So I hung up, and then I got a denial letter like a week later. So I have to reapply again. But it's like, it was hard for me to get on all of these things because I used to make good money as a manager at Panera. Like, my salary was $40,000. Like, that was good for like no education and
yeah. I'm not trying to take that away from you. I'm just
I mean, it's not good.
What's
like
good, amazing to us is like somebody would be like, how the fuck do you live on that?
Yeah.
But
well, I make like, I'm lucky if I make $25,000 now at my job, and that's just kind of. And I don't have insurance there. So that's partially why I get the assistance, but it's hard. Like, it was hard for me to accept that it's okay for me to use that stuff. Like, I didn't want to, and there's so much shame about it that, like, I just didn't talk about it for a long time. But, like, why would I be ashamed of that? Like, I need help. There was how much of my life that I made enough money to be okay, and I'm not stopping myself from making more money or going further in my career. It's just where I'm at right now.
Yeah, the programs exist for a reason. Like, we don't take good enough care of our people anyway, but there are some things there, and like, use them.
Yeah.
Use them if you can.
And Panera, I was a salary manager, so I'm still.
Yeah, somebody said something I wanted to.
Oh. Well, I started at Panera as an hourly employee. It's actually my first job I got, I worked at the factory when I got out of jail, but after that, when I got a job at Panera, I started at $9 an hour back in, 2010, and by 2013, I was salary and making $40,000. So, they pay well, but you have to, really sell your soul to Mother Bread.
Yeah,
Mother Bread makes you work long hours. As a manager, you're almost guaranteed to have a
You have to drink the Flavor Aid to work there.
You have to eat the bread.
Yeah, eat the bread. But hopefully there's some change coming on. But wage stagnation is a huge problem in the country. The cost of housing has gone up, but the wages haven't. The cost of school has gone up, but wages haven't.
Yeah.
And then healthcare, all that stuff's gonna have to change and change soon. It's all that stuff is a massive bad thing that we are supposed to be the leader of the free world, and man, we don't have some simple shit figured out.
Yeah. I would love to make money off of YouTube. I don't really see that happening. I do make money. We
have made $12 thus far, guys.
Plus
and it's
today.
All thanks to you.
Yeah, plus today I got some super chats, so I'm really appreciative. And
right.
I'm happy to even have the opportunity to make money off of it. I never expected that because I know the topics I talk about are not very advertiser friendly.
And it's not why we do this.
Yeah.
This is why we do this, because this is fun. We like talking to you guys. I don't know.
I would love to reach a bigger audience, but at the same time, I also love being able to sit here and
engage.
See the comments as you guys are doing this live chat. This is perfect for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose that ability to connect with people. I guess when I don't know, there are the people that I've been talking to since the beginning, and I will continue to talk to you, but it'll be harder for me to develop relationships with more people as I would go on. But
that's why you got to get in on the ground floor.
Let's see.
Paige, have fun at the carnival, man. I love carnivals.
I love carnivals.
Yeah, man. Calliope music, and we went on a Ferris wheel, and I'm scared of heights. I don't know why I went on this Ferris wheel, but I was sitting there.
He scared me. I got
was
scared.
So stressed. But
it was embarrassing.
Damn.
Me, I was why am I you?
Yeah,
Your paranoia rubs off.
I have an engineer's brain, so all I could think of was did the person who built this torque all these bolts down right? Like, are
You
these
would.
things stripped? Like,
Instead of
shit
just-
happens, man. Bridges are falling apart all over the place.
bridges
like,
are just old though. Like that
those
Ferris
things
wheel
get
was
taken
just
apart and
assembled.
put back together all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that like makes me feel better because I know it was just put together. So, Katie said that we live on low income too. We shouldn't be ashamed. I'm just realizing now that I need to stop trying to do it alone and look for help. Yes, that times a million. Like, I want to make a video about it, but like, I don't know really what to make the video about. A big thing that I like about MAC clinics in my area, not all of them, but the one that I really, really, really support. I don't go to them because I didn't meet their standards. I couldn't go to the therapy and stuff as much as they wanted. And that's nothing against them. I'll always say it. They are very by the book and follow the DEA standards for the care. But they are very big on the community-based recovery support services. And that is like the customer assistance programs, the financial assistance, the daycare assistance. Like, they will get you set up with all of that. In Pennsylvania, there's this thing called MAWD, M-A-W-D. It's medical assistance for workers with disability. And if you work a job, period, and have a disability, which opioid use disorder counts as a disability under this, you only have to pay $50 a month for health insurance, like, to get medical assistance, to get what the government offers, like, and that's good coverage, and that's amazing. But a lot of people don't know about that.
I mean, it could be like that for literally every American if we let it happen. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And somebody asked our opinion on medical marijuana. All for it, 100%. Like.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, it is legal for opioid use disorder, and it's actually passing or has passed for people with anxiety.
It passed for anxiety.
It did?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what I think that is doing, what I think the point of that, like, obviously it's good for anxiety, but I also think that's kind of like a way for them to get around recreational laws right now, trying to make it legal recreationally.
Yeah.
Because it's much easier to get diagnosed with anxiety. Way more people have. It's something that will give people, if they want to get a prescription to it, it's so much easier, and that's more revenue for the state.
In Pennsylvania specifically, the issue that they're going to come up with is that there's only a few providers, like companies that are growing and dispensing, and the stock that they have now is not necessarily sufficient. So once all these people come in for anxiety and other things, it's going to either force the providers to like expand and like, you know, grow it, or they're just gonna have a lot of unhappy people and it's gonna suck for a little bit. But I don't know, it's just kind of, there's gonna be a lot more people coming in, and hopefully we'll get to recreational sooner rather than later. But
it's just gonna make so much money. It's like,
they already make so much
I know,
money.
I wonder, like, what would happen if a doctor would want to have medical marijuana, because I know that it's still illegal at the federal level. Would that interfere with their doctor's license, because they're a medical professional?
Yeah.
So how can it be prescribed? You know what I mean?
You still can't like drive high. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it would be in your system. Like, we don't have a way to test for that. To test if you just did it or if you did it yesterday and it's still in your. Like,
if you are a doctor, it is on you to be at your peak if someone was to need you, because you are responsible for people's lives a lot of times when you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I
you
mean,
need to be like 100%.
Well, majority of emergency room doctors and nurses
drunk or coked out of their head.
Yeah, or Adderall is what I was gonna say. They take stimulants, like they're prescribed it. So like if they can be prescribed that, like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily thinking about emergency room departments doctors. I was just thinking, like, because they are a medical professional and this is for it's a medicine, like.
There's sometimes I wouldn't mind my doctor being stoned, but there's other times where I'm like, yo, be straight, please.
Yeah. I wouldn't want them to do it at work, but what about ever, like on their off hours? But there was something someone said I wanted to go back to. Gma said there should be an option for meds with online therapy. Not everyone has a car.
BetterHelp,
I agree. BetterHelp is an option for therapy.
It's a little expensive.
I don't think it's that expensive when you consider other therapy options.
True.
they do an income assistance. Like if you have a lower income, they will lower the price. And if
Sliding pay scale.
Yeah, you have to reapply for that. So if you ever like have BetterHelp going and you forget to reapply for your financial assistance through them, you can, and like they'll charge you the full amount. All you have to do is reach out to customer support, and they will they'll refund your money and take you back down to the lower level. Like, I cannot talk highly enough about BetterHelp. They take, wherever you live, they have to give you a therapist that's licensed in your state. There's so many people talking crap on it, but like, it's actual licensed therapists. I have used their services numerous times. Like, I love it so much, and my doctor allows that with Matt. Now, not every doctor will allow that, so some doctors are going to be like, no, you have to see the therapist in office, or blah, blah, blah. Like, it kind of works.
No, it's definitely legit.
Yeah, it's 100% legit. People get mad, I think, because they had promo codes. Like, that was the big thing, was the promo codes.
There were people that got butthurt about it being pushed and, like, commoditizing mental health. But, like, I don't know, asking or getting help to more people is...
They want to know what kind of vape that is.
This is a Yocan. It is a wax pen.
It is for medicinal marijuana.
Yeah.
BetterHelp, I guess because YouTubers were talking about their mental health or making videos about their depression or anxiety when they didn't have that problem. So people got pissed. People got pissed that they were trying to make money off of something or make light of something that wasn't really that important to them or didn't matter. But like, just like with Matt, it's like the more access to it, the better. Why would you get mad? Like, so what if they're talking about it and they don't struggle with depression that bad, or like, you know what I mean? That's just more people have access to cheaper therapy. I just don't see it as a bad...
And theoretically, that's what capitalism is supposed to be good at, is like the private sector providing these solutions for people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If we don't have the systems in place by the government, like, they have to come in from somewhere. So what else did somebody say?
I don't know.
Brittany said if you're pulled over, it's by... Yeah, being pulled over by the cops is always going to be a bad time. Like, even if you haven't smoked, they're going to be like, I smell marijuana in your vehicle.
Say that anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to get started on that shit. But prison reform, someone also said something about prison reform. I'm super passionate about that. Like, there's so much meaningful change that can happen very quickly, and prison reform can happen pretty quickly, in my opinion. Like, firstly, you just stop locking so many people up. Like, start there, and I don't know, there's a lot of things. Treat people as people, and like they can change instead of penitent.
We were thinking about making our On Wednesdays We Were Orange about like prison labor and prison slave labor because of the John Oliver video that was just released, and it's a great video. If you guys haven't seen it, it's last week tonight, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
it's on YouTube. It's really great, and it's so fucked up. Like, it's all so fucked up, and people want to be like, crime doesn't pay. It doesn't pay to commit crime. Like, well, they're still trying to exist. They're still trying to live. Like, they still have needs and things that they have to buy, and court fees and legal fees and all this stuff. And then...
Yeah, prison's not free. Like, it doesn't cost you anything to be in prison, but everything costs money above, like, the most basic shit that they give you.
Yeah, they don't even give you stuff to meet your needs.
Pennsylvania, the most you can make is 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Like, and the lowest is 19 cents an hour. Like, that is nothing.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. Plus, you have to consider there's how many for-profit prisons. And for the prisons that are doing anything with businesses like that, where people are making, like,
it's all exploitation.
Cheese or something for, what is that place? That Whole Foods was one. There's, like, people that do sewing. There's so many different types of factory work or whatever that they're having prisoners do. And they're making money off of that. And it's like, why can't they... I don't know. You know how...
Slavery, man. Modern day slavery.
And then... I hate getting pulled over. I would hate getting pulled over if I had your experience, too. I hate it as it is, but, like, damn, I am sorry that happened. just for her, all the state troopers that surrounded her.
Oh yeah.
I made him watch that video with me.
You didn't make me like I.
Well, yeah. Well,
Damn.
you were standing there with me, and I kind of pulled you in.
I got sucked
pulled
into
you
it.
in, yeah.
Yes.
And then we started talking about it.
Misrepresenting.
We are releasing a video. I want to say tomorrow, but who knows?
Probably
It could be Friday. About the car accident, the hit and run. It is so close to being over with. And we have the video filmed. We filmed it early. I was hoping I would have it up by now, but I don't want to have it up until we receive the settlement money. And we still haven't received it. When you guys hear how crazy this is, like, we got screwed so bad, and, like, it was just one thing after another, but, like, the thing that pissed me off the most was the officer in it. Like, that really had me pissed.
It could have been worse, but still.
It could have been,
still
well, yeah, but everything
great.
could be worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't negate your actual experience.
Agreed. Try to maintain a little perspective is all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I know, but he just really made... We'll find out why he made me so
There's
mad.
legitimate reasons to be mad.
But it's like, whoa, sit back up. You're making me washed out.
My bad.
Got real white.
You did that. You
I
did
mean,
to
I
me
am
earlier.
really, really pale.
They justify paying you that because you're in prison.
The 13th Amendment.
You're a prisoner.
The 13th Amendment that abolished slavery said that slavery was pretty much abolished unless you were committed a crime.
Yeah, unless, yeah.
So, with that amendment, they are allowed to give you nothing. There are some states that pay people nothing in prison. And if you get hurt or are sick and you can't go to work or don't go to work, you go to the hole.
Yeah, you get a right, and you will get a write-up, and most, like, a write-up, you can lose parole. Like, yeah, you're going to the hole.
Yeah, losing parole, like...
Force you to work for no money, and if you don't do it, you get segregated. Like, you get put in segregation.
And, like, what if you get hurt? What if, like, it's not like a place where you have protection, where you have workman's comp, where you have things like...
Well, if you get hurt, then you have to submit a sick call slip and pay for that.
Yeah. Why should we pay prisoners? I don't understand. Why would they ever need money? Pay for phone calls, pay for, like, visits in some situations, pay for the...
Video, like, Pennsylvania has a tablet now that is, like, $147, but they can then, like, email their family and stuff. Like, it's a great thing. Somewhat, yeah, it's exploitative as all get out. But it's also, like, that's a okay thing. JPay is super exploitative. All the phone systems are super, like... You're a captive audience. Like, what choice do you have? Like, you have to do that, so you have to pay it no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's not fair. But, Phil was asking, the video for the car thing will be up hopefully no later than Friday, because that is the latest date that we should receive the settlement money. It's just crazy. It's just been it's been a fun, like, month and a half.
My bicycle legs are strong.
My mom gives me rides everywhere, so I mean, it was hard sharing a car, and then this taught me that that's not that bad. Sharing a car is great.
I actually really like riding a bike, except when it rains.
Okay, well then you can keep riding the bike, and I'll get to drive the new car.
The prices for what, like
The
food or phone calls or visits or
things like phone calls and stuff like that is usually set by whoever provides the service, right? Well, the jail or prison would have a say in it, but, like, they were saying, like...
different companies bid on contracts with the prison, be like, we will provide you this for this amount of money, blah, 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 blah. So the phone is usually, like, Global Tel-Link or something like that, and they set the prices, man. The prison's like, you're going to provide this service for us. What do you know what I mean? You dictate what you're going to charge.
Didn't that video say that New York State made phone calls free in prison? I believe that's what...
Like, mandated on state level?
Yeah, I think that's what John Oliver's thing said. And it should really be like that for a lot of people, because you're in... Like, I keep saying... Can we talk about the death penalty thing that you were saying?
Sure.
So, tell them what you told me.
That they're trying to restart federal death penalty and, like, go ahead with cases, like, in December, like, execute people in December. Like,
do you know how long it's been since we've done it?
We've done, like, 3 over the last, like, 30 years. It was, like, Timothy McVeigh was one of the last ones in, like, the 90s. But, like, since then, we haven't... There's a lot of people on death row. Like, there's a lot of people who have been sentenced to death in like states that don't have the that don't no longer have the death penalty and stuff. But on this federal level, not silver lining, but like one good indication is they had to change the way they were doing lethal injections because they weren't effective. Like, they were painful, they wouldn't work. Like, they had a bunch of botched executions. So they were changing the drugs
that they watch those.
Yeah, they were changing the drugs that they used to what they were using to euthanize animals. They announced this change incredibly suddenly. Like, so there's questions about how they're going to get it, if they already have it. The manufacturer of the drug is like, no, we're not going to give that to you to execute people. We're not okay with that. So that's a good thing, but like, I don't know, why? Like, we have got it wrong so many times.
Getting it wrong one time is too many times. Like, what I was trying to say to Greg, like, we forget that the prisoners have families. They have people out there that are being punished because they're related to or love a prisoner. Like, they are being forced to pay so much money
too.
Because they want to stay in contact with their family member or friend, and like, that's not fair. And I don't know, like, they didn't have any control in that. Like, there are children that can't talk to their parents, because their parents made the mistake, and that's on the parent. But like, I don't know, it just spread so far. Hey, Jaxie.
I mean, there's no such thing as late to a live stream. You pop in and out as much as you want.
Right, Brittany said, hates the death penalty for so many reasons and rather pay the tax money to house them than accidentally execute someone who's innocent. I also think that, like, forcing them to stay alive, like...
That's more punishment. Like, yeah. It's more justice, I guess. Like, taking away someone's freedom for a long time is about as bad as it gets. Like, and death row, like, especially not... So if you're sentenced to death and you're on death row and, like, you're not going to get executed, that's solitary confinement usually. Like, you do not have privileges. So your shit's gonna suck. And if you deserve it, that's cool. If you don't, you still have a chance to appeal and appeal and appeal, and I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're truly innocent, you might get out.
I don't know. The whole prison system is just kind of crazy. And the fact that people don't want to reform in the sense, like, they don't want to offer prisoners schooling or training and stuff like that because they didn't get it on the outside. It's like, well, it's a big like, we're doing it wrong across the board. We should have people. I do have a PO box actually. I'll have Greg type it in, but I think we're doing it wrong if, like, people on the outside are mad that they didn't get the chance to go to school or get job training, so they want to take it away from people in prison. That doesn't sound fair. Like, we should have... School shouldn't cost so much. That's basically where I'm getting at with that. Like, if you can't afford... I'm not saying that we should send prisoners to elite colleges.
No, but if you want less crime, you have to eliminate the factors that lead to crime.
Right.
Like, not having an education, not having job skills, like, not having another family member that's incarcerated is a risk factor for incarceration itself. Like, I don't know.
Is it
sucks, man.
We got 18 High Street?
Yes.
I think so.
But,
no, I don't remember. I'll have to check it up. I'll have to put the P.O. box in later. It's in, like, the description of some of my other videos. I don't remember. But, like, we expect people to just get out of prison after so many years and not have any, like, he was telling me that when you get out, they kind of teach you how to word your resume in a certain way that would get you, like, would avoid, like, a big gap in time
18.
In your, resume. But, like, at the same time, there's already a limited pool of jobs that you can go and apply to and, like, be accepted with a felony and a criminal record like that, and then to not have any work history, I don't know, it's not fair.
Felons face massive discrimination, and I don't know, man.
It sucks. Like, there's still so many things that I can't do, and I have a bachelor's degree. I got the bachelor's degree for myself. I did not do that to get a job. I did that because I wanted my degree. I wanted to finish it, and I also wanted to learn. Like, learning about psychology has been the best thing for my recovery, but it hasn't done anything for me as far as job career. Like, have applied for so many jobs, and I don't qualify for many of them because you have to have experience or a master's degree or both, and I don't have any of that. So I have like $50,000 debt in student loans.
And your situation is typical. The trillions of dollars in student debt. Like, people are dying in their old age with student debt still. Like, come on. Like, again, that's because the cost of tuition has gone up 4 times faster than the wage has increased or some shit like that. Like, it's a massive disparity.
Yeah.
But,
did you see what Jima said? She said, in Japan, if you're on death row, you don't know the date, so every day you live in fear, or it could be today or tomorrow. That does sound like pure torture, but that's kind of interesting because I thought about, like, I don't know, knowing that date really dictates a lot of how your sentence feels and, like, the feelings that you have towards it. So that would be terrifying. But, I mean, if you deserve, I don't know, I hate the death penalty. I don't think that's the way that we should do it, but, like, that's just mean. But some people just, like, I don't know. I don't want to say they deserve to die, but, like, some people deserve to be away for a while.
Ending cash bail is also, like, a good thing. Because, like, again, these things were all started for really racist reasons. And, like, disproportionately affect black people and minorities and low-income people. And just keep them trapped. So,
yeah,
that can go.
Think about it. Like, you can be bailed out, essentially. If you have money, you can be bailed out. If you don't have money, you're going to have to go in there and sit, no matter what, regardless of if you are guilty or not. Like, you're there until, so how are you innocent until proven guilty, but then you're sitting in jail until then?
You're not, man.
It's just crazy.
You're not. You're functionally not.
Yeah. And that's awesome, Jexie. I really like your boyfriend's job. That would be so rewarding to be able to help prisoners as they re-enter society.
Well, and like, if you accrue $50,000 in debt for a bachelor's, right? Like, what job could you possibly ever get that's gonna allow you to pay that off? That was what originally you were getting this loan that you would then pay back when you got the skills to make more money. But it just doesn't work.
I didn't do it so that I would get a job.
No, but people do it for that reason and then still can't do it because there's just not enough.
Yeah, a licensed drug and alcohol counselor would make what I make hourly.
Yeah.
And that required the bachelor's degree. So, like, I actually got offered a job as a drug and alcohol counselor, and it was a pay cut.
Universal basic income, man.
A pay cut for a counselor position, like, with my bachelor's degree. Like, that's insane. I'm just like a personal assistant right now. I work as a secretary, I guess. I don't really know what you would call my job.
You're a personal assistant.
I'm a personal
scheduler,
I handle this guy's like schedule and all of his work orders and get all his paperwork together, all that stuff. So I enjoy my job, but
hide that. Somebody's a moron.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't know, man.
It is.
What do I do? I work in composites. I make plastic stuff. I light resin transfer molding is technically what it is, but yeah.
He molds plastic parts for like big things like trucks and buses and stuff like that. Basically, like big. Well, it's not like a 3D printer because it fills in with like a liquid resin.
There's many different ways to make plastics. Yeah. Like, the process for my dentures is similar to what the process to make trucks.
Yeah.
Like, plastics are incredible, but also got to do something about plastics.
Yeah. Actually, someone asked me, because I said about making videos about that, like I really enjoy learning about like recycling and how to be more.
Everything is a precious resource.
Yeah.
Like back in the 30s, they would have never thrown away a plastic bottle. That would have been like a thing that you just reuse over and over and over.
As we're drinking out of like a miracle big plastic bottle, but like I don't actually buy these. I didn't buy this. That was a one-off because the water cooler broke.
Yeah.
But
unforgivable.
And I filled it like 3 times so far. Like I don't like to use plastic and throw it away. It makes me sad. I don't like to use straws. I always carry straws.
Consumption.
But yeah, I have lots of little weird interests and things like that I want to make more content about, but I want to branch out slowly so I don't like lose everybody all at once, because But you
guys are always interested in like a whole bunch of other stuff, so They actually, they have discovered I forget what it is. It's some kind of animal that literally dissolves plastic. It's a moth that eats wax or something that eats wax. But when they put it on plastic, it dissolves the plastic and like is potentially a thing that can be used. Like they don't know the mechanism, but if it's like a substance inside them that they could recreate and then use it to like
sense.
dissolve plastic.
Jaxie said, aren't reusing those types of plastic bottles. They're not meant for reuse, especially if they are subjected to like extreme heat or sunlight.
Yeah, plastics do break down.
Yeah.
This was originally probably like a liquid, so over enough time it wants to go back to that liquid state.
Yeah. Well,
and heat doesn't help.
They say that if it like sits in your car or if it sits in direct sunlight, you aren't supposed to do that. I keep it in my book bag if I go outside, but like I don't go outside very much. And I only reuse it because I feel so bad about it. But normally you'll see me with like, I have a big like stainless steel cup and stainless steel straw, and that's what I like to carry around. But we used to buy cases of water bottles. Like that's what I did. That's just how twice. I thought I don't know. I never really considered it. And it was just like so wasteful. There's so many things that we do that is wasteful. And I never thought about it. But once I learned about it, I can't forget. I can't pretend that I don't know because it's such small, tiny changes can make such big changes for the world, too. I wish I could say that I was vegan, but, man, I really like cheese. I really like cheese.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit helps, and no one person is going to solve the issues. But, like, I don't know, you can make small adjustments that, like, really do add up when everybody does them.
Yeah, it's easy to get discouraged when you see things like that you can't fix.
Like every single person that we went to in their house and saw them recycle were doing it wrong. Like almost everyone we
talk to, and like they don't like to hear that. They don't either don't believe us or.
It's hard to tell someone that they're doing something wrong to begin with.
Especially something simple like recycling.
Yeah.
But it's.
Yeah.
The straws, like, I actually learned a really interesting thing about that. Jaxie, I saw your message. I'm going to respond to that in a second. But the straws popped up. So they make the lids now so there's, like, sippy cups, which is great. But I had no idea that this was a thing. Single-use straws were actually designed for medical purposes. Because they're sanitary and for disabled people, which I had no idea. So, like, I was always just like, get rid of straws. Why? We don't need them. I can work without that. Or, like, I can use a glass or stainless steel straw, but I didn't get that. So it's like, I feel like we always do one or the other. You know, we do like, everyone offers all the straws and then all of a sudden it's like they offer no straws. Like one or the other. But I do greatly think that I strongly support Starbucks doing the lids and doing away with the straws as long as they still offer them. There's some places that like genuinely don't offer them at all. I think there's like an entire city somewhere that does. Is it? I wanted to say Chicago, or Boston or something, like they don't have it.
And we as a nation generate a truly like ungodly amount of waste like every day.
Yeah.
Paper straws, I have not used one. I've heard mixed things about them. Like
paper straws are cool, but they break down quickly, like obviously. But if you use them fast, they serve their purpose. And I mean, not fast. Like, I had a drink that I let sit for a while, and then I went back and it was soft. It didn't completely break down. But, Jaxie, yes, I'll text you about doing something like that. That would be cool. What time is it? I didn't see.
Recycling wrong? So, like, you take your labels off your stuff, rinse your stuff out, no food
like clean
crap
it out,
in there.
not just rinse. Like it's got to be clean.
Yeah, no lids.
Yeah, like no lids on your milk containers, things like that.
No dirty cardboard, no paper,
no pizza boxes. Sometimes they don't do cartons. It depends on like your township or city.
The numbers are on there for a reason type deal.
Yeah, plastics can only be recycled if they have like certain numbers. And again, check with your specific area. Like ours, the paper, they recycle paper and cardboard, but you have to take it to the recycling center. And they don't pick that up because it'll get soiled. And a lot of the stuff like bottles, like your sauce containers and stuff like that, your soaps, like you have to rinse it out and have it clean because anything that's left in there is just contaminants that's going to attract rats. And most places, like China is who was buying most of our recycling, and they stopped because we were not doing it properly.
Well,
the
not
contamination level was too high.
Yeah, and not only that, like, there was a long time when they relied on that to, like, get raw material to, like, manufacture, but they've gotten to a point where they no longer need to go through the bullshit to, like, recycle the stuff, so they're like, nah, y'all can figure it out, and we just never created the infrastructure to deal with it.
I think we need to go back to a system where, like, Coke bottles, you can return Coke bottles and then they can sanitize them and reuse them.
Yeah.
You know, that would be so smart. Like, we should probably shift back to, I don't know if glass is something that we could do, but, like...
So much glass.
Yeah, but
we're running out of sand already.
We also have too much plastic on everything, like single-use, like the wrappers around stuff, and then on the bottle, and then it's in a box that has like
wasteful packaging.
Yeah, so much stuff.
The medical marijuana industry is actually really bad about excess bullshit packaging.
Yeah, that's like something that makes me sad about like beauty stuff, because like I love getting my Jeffree Star makeup, like a palette and stuff, but it comes in a box. It has a sleeve on the package and then a thing inside of it to separate the eyeshadow palettes. So there's plastic and then the box, and then it has tissue paper all around it, and then that's wrapped in another thing, and then that's in a big box. It's like, that sucks. That's a lot. Like, I know, like, what is it? Halo Beauty? Yeah, the vitamins. You get one container of the vitamins comes in a box, and you get like another thing. It's just so wasteful because you have to get like a box and then a plastic tub inside of another box like every month. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man.
I also have become like a little pack rat about stuff like that, because I will reuse containers like all the time if I can, or boxes all the time. But yeah, we got way off topic again. Like, I really enjoy live streams though. I am still planning on doing a live stream tomorrow night. I don't know if Greg is going to be joining me, but I will be here. If you have any suggestions for topics that you would like me to talk about in the live stream tomorrow night, let me know. You can either like comment it here now, you can comment on this actual video, you can leave it on my community tab, or hit me up on Instagram.
Spay and neuter. Yeah, man. Like,
what? Yeah.
We don't need extra. You're washing me out. I said spay and neuter. Important things. Like, yeah, cats breed like crazy. We don't need more stray animals anywhere.
Oh, washing you out. I did not. I thought I was trying to read that on the screen. I'm like, what? Who said washing it out? Okay. Yeah. Rescue animals. Definitely adopt, don't shop. Spay and neuter. That's always good.
Yeah, foster a dog.
Yep.
Anything. Be good people.
But yeah, I have to jump off of here. Emerson's going to be home any minute. My mom was so nice to keep him a little bit later so that we could do this.
Thanks for hanging out.
I smoke weed every day.
Every day.
I don't, but I mean, yeah, you do.
But most days.
Yeah. Again, let me know what you guys want to talk about tomorrow night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
See ya.